The year was 2388. Two survivors, Dr. Elena Ramirez and Lieutenant Jason Harper, huddled inside the cramped escape pod, the cold metal walls pressing against them, a stark contrast to the vast emptiness outside. Their research vessel, the Argonaut Asterisk, was now a lifeless hulk, its systems critically damaged after a meteoroid shower tore through its hull. The pod's emergency lights cast an eerie glow, flickering like the last breaths of a dying star. Elena stared out of the small viewport, her mind drifting into the void beyond. Space, once a frontier of endless possibilities, now felt like a prison. Her thoughts were a tangled mess of fear and despair. The supplies were minimal, rations for a week at most, and the chances of rescue seemed slimmer by the minute. She glanced at Jason, who was methodically checking the pod's status. His face, usually a mask of confidence, was etched with lines of worry. "We're not going to last long out here," Jason muttered, breaking the heavy silence. His voice was rough, the weariness evident. "We need to figure out a way to signal for help." Elena nodded, though she knew the odds were against them. The pod's distress beacon was functional, but in the vastness of space, it was a whisper in a hurricane. Still, they had no other option. Hours passed, each one stretching into an eternity. They took turns sleeping, though rest was elusive in the oppressive confines of the pod. During her wakeful moments, Elena found herself reminiscing about the times before the catastrophe, about the camaraderie of the crew, the shared laughs, and the common goal of their mission. Those memories now felt like fragments of another life. One day, as Elena fiddled with the communications panel trying to boost the signal, Jason approached her. His expression was grim but determined. "I found something," he said, holding up a small portable solar panel from the emergency kit. "If we can rig this to the beacon, we might amplify the signal." Hope flickered briefly in Elena's chest. They worked in silence, their movements precise and deliberate. The makeshift setup was far from perfect, but it was their best shot. As Jason connected the final wire, they held their breath, waiting for a sign that their efforts were not in vain. The beacon's light intensified, a small victory in their sea of despair. But the question lingered. Would anyone hear their call? Days blurred together. The rations dwindled and the specter of starvation loomed larger. Yet, amidst the bleakness, a bond formed between Elena and Jason. They shared stories, fears, and fragments of hope, each word a lifeline tethering them to humanity. Elena found strength in Jason's resilience, while he drew comfort from her unwavering resolve. But as the seventh day dawned, their situation grew dire. The air was thinning and every breath felt like a struggle. Elena's vision blurred, and she saw Jason slumped against the wall, his face pale. She crawled towards him, her voice barely a whisper. "We have to hold on, Jason. Someone will come." Jason's eyes met hers, filled with a mix of pain and determination. "Elena, if it comes to it, you have to use the last of the oxygen. You have a better chance of survival." The words hit her like a blow, but she knew the truth in them. Tears welled up in her eyes, but she blinked them away. "No, we survive together. That's the only way." Time lost all meaning as they floated in the abyss, their lifelines slowly fading. Just as the darkness seemed ready to claim them, a flicker of light appeared on the horizon, a ship moving steadily towards them. Rescue. Elena felt a surge of relief, but it was tempered by the reality of their situation. The pod's oxygen was almost depleted. She reached for Jason's hand, squeezing it weakly. "We made it," she breathed. As the rescuers brought them aboard, the overwhelming joy was mixed with a deep, gnawing uncertainty. Their survival was a miracle, but at what cost? They had endured, but the scars of their ordeal would linger, a reminder of the fragility of hope in the face of overwhelming darkness. In the end, they were saved, but the experience had changed them irrevocably. The void had taken its toll, and though they had emerged alive, they carried with them the echoes of the void, a haunting reminder that survival often comes at a price, and hope, while powerful, is a fragile, fleeting thing. The ship's captain, a stern-faced woman with eyes that had seen too much, looked at them and simply said, "Welcome back to the world." But Elena and Jason knew that the world they had returned to was not the same one they had left. The void had marked them, leaving a dark, indelible stain on their souls.